Welcome to Jets Overtime, presented by Nissan. Eric Allen and Anthony Beck inside the BetMGM studios. The New York Jets fall to 3-10 on the season with a 30-9 loss to the New Orleans Saints. AB, point blank, not much went the green and white's way today.
No, not really. I mean, listen, it wasn't offensively to start there. It wasn't very good functional offense today. I mean, we talked about Zach Wilson getting off to a quick start, getting him into a rhythm with the receiving group that was out there. There were some new faces just in the starting rotation outside of the guys that were out of the game, but weren't able to get things going. 3 straight 3-and-outs for the offense did not help the situation. And you watch the Saints on offense do really nothing as well. So you had those opportunities. You know, anytime your offensive line's intact and you can play with those guys, you should be able to get some things going. From a running standpoint, they weren't able to get complimentary in the run game as well, so there was no balance. And, you know, Zach Wilson was off some of his easy targets. His receivers surely didn't help him in certain situations. I think with Zach, not one of his best games, but, you know, he's got to still work on a lot of things. He's got to get better. He's got to learn from these things. You know, he still has several games left. The experience, the plays, all this stuff should generate and help him become a better player moving forward. But, you know, right now it's just offensively nothing really went the way they really planned on it or wanted to go in this football game.
Let's flip it to the other side of the ball and bring in Eric Coleman. E, what did you make of the defensive effort today? Obviously, you give up 30 points, but at halftime you're sitting there, it's 10-6, it's a 4-point game, and you were doing well getting off the field on third downs. Alvin Kamara was the best player on the field today.
Absolutely. You know, I thought the defense, for the most part, did a great job. They played 3 quarters of very hard football, smart football. They got off the field when needed. You know, they held Taysom Hill. They contained him in the pocket, and they contained the run for the most part. But you're right. Alvin Kamara was the big difference today, 120 yards on the ground. You know, he was just special. You know, he made a lot of plays. There were a lot of missed tackles on Kamara. He was really the difference in this game today. You know, and as you got into the fourth quarter, the defense started to wear down. You saw Taysom Hill break out the long run. You saw them give up some big plays that they weren't giving up earlier in the game. And, you know, they were on the field for quite some time. You know, that offense was never able to get into the rhythm. You know, as Anthony said, you know, Zach Wilson got off to a slow start, a lot of punts in the first half. That means the defense is out there on the field. So I think they got wore down towards the end of that game.
Yeah, great point. So can we stay right there? You guys both play between those white lines. AB, when you're getting no flow on one side of the ball and you enter this game a 3-9 football club, how does it impact everything? Because the score at the end of the day looks like this thing was a blowout when if you watched most of this game, it was ready to be had.
Yeah, opportunities were there. I mean, you know, listen, the defense did enough early on in this game, at least in the first half, to give the offense an opportunity to get something generated. They weren't able to do that. You know, okay, one bad first quarter, that's fine. Get it together, make the adjustments, come back in the second quarter and get some drives together. They weren't able to do that. And then you come out in the second half early on and you still have those opportunities, but you know, you weren't able to kind of capitalize. Defense couldn't hold tight. Gave up some contain issues on the outside. A lot of outside runs today that really hurt this football team. And, of course, that last run by Taysom Hill to put the kind of the icing on the cake. But, you know, too many rushing yards defensively. You weren't worried about the passing game too much, although Taysom Hill did come back in the second half and make some key completions in this game to move the chains. But, you know, again, just not having that flow. Whether receivers are being covered up. Look, the Saints have a good defense. Let's give them credit. They have some really good secondary players. They played tight coverage, and they trusted their guys. They rushed 5 pretty much on all the important downs, and were at least able to rush the process a little bit. And there were no connections. There weren't any opportunities. And when they were, either it was off with a pass, it was a drop, just no flow to get anybody feeling confident. And what happens is when that side of the ball offensively doesn't get it going and the defense is trying to get some things generated and you can't get it all stopped together, really the only thing you're hanging your hat on is Eddie Pinheiro, who gets a couple field goals in this game. But field goals aren't going to win games. You got to make hay in the red zone. I believe they're 0 for 3. In the red zone in this football game. So when your opportunities were there, you weren't able to capitalize.
Ominous foreshadowing there early in this ball game when Zach Wilson was trying to connect with Ty Johnson. There were a pair of drops, and then I believe there was a third down play where I thought Zach threw a little bit behind him where it would have been a tough catch.
Yeah, and that was disappointing. I think they put a lot on Ty Johnson's shoulders. I thought he could have made a big difference today, but when you don't get your confidence up early, when you have those early drops, it messes with you. And just to shift back to the defensive side, going into this game that you're playing against a great defense. You know that the Saints are one of the top-rated defenses in the league. You have a rookie quarterback, so as a defense, you know that going out there, we have to get some stops. We have to force some turnovers. We have to give our quarterback some opportunities, and that starts with stopping the run. And I think that's what was most disappointing is that Taysom Hill, you understand he has a hurt finger, and without the hurt finger, he's not the greatest thrower of the football. So what are you going to do? You're going to stop the run, force them to beat you in the air. And the Jets were never able to get that run game stopped. Taysom Hill is dangerous in the run, and that was what was disappointing for me. But to go back to what you asked me, Ty Johnson is a young player. You want to get him involved in the game, get his confidence up, let him get some layups, get some nice catches, some nice runs, and then maybe he'll start going. But unfortunately, with those early drops, it never gets started.
Zach Wilson, 19 of 42 today for 202 yards. The voice of the Jets, Bob Wischusen, talked with the rookie quarterback after the game.
Zach, why the struggles today? When you look back on this game, what do you think you're going to see?
Just not executing. That's really all it comes down to. I got to make better throws. We got to establish some drives. Get going. Defense did a good job holding them up. Gave us a lot of opportunities, and we got to take advantage of it on offense.
When you miss some of the simpler throws, for you, is that technique? Is it between your ears? Like when you go back and you look at the game and you say, "All right, I missed a wide receiver screen." Explain to a fan that's watching that and is confused where that comes from.
Yeah, that one just slipped off my hand. I got to be able just to move on from those and just trust it. Just let it rip. That's really all it comes down to.
How much did you miss Corey, Elijah? Obviously, those are your number one and number two receivers. How is this offense different for you when those guys are there?
Yeah, no, it should be no different. I thought the guys today were ready for the opportunity to step up. I got to give them, some better throws, put them in some better situations, and obviously it'd be nice to have those guys out, but it's how the NFL goes. Next guy up, and I thought they did a good job. I got to give them some better throws.
All right, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. All right.
Thanks.
You are watching Jets Overtime, presented by Nissan. Eric Allen and Anthony Becht inside the BetMGM studios. The New York Jets fall by a 30-9 score to the New Orleans Saints today. When I'm watching Wilson each week, I'm like this. It's up and down, up and down. And we knew this was going to happen with the rookie quarterback. Last week, Robert Saleh said after the Eagles game that by far that was Wilson's best performance. Now he was dealing with adversity coming into this ball game. No Corey Davis, no Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is this team's top playmaker by far offensively. They were getting some things going on the ground with Tevin Coleman. Now he comes out of the lineup. Michael Carter was very impressive. He's out with the high ankle sprain. No excuses. It's the NFL, but I think it did have an impact on this ball game today.
Yeah, there's a lot of growing pains as a rookie player, especially the quarterback position. Zach had a couple opportunities in this game, could have made some plays. He did some decent things with his legs when the opportunity was there. You talk about, what he did from a passing standpoint, no turnovers in the game. That's something that's a positive you pull for it. Look, there's rookies all over the place. Trevor Lawrence had 4 picks today in a football game. So, you're trying to compare and you're trying to see, what you can get out of your rookie player. What happens is it's going to take time and growth. You want to have his best players on the field. When they're not there, you hear Zach say, well, it shouldn't matter. Well, it does matter a little bit because, if Corey Davis is running a particular route, Elijah Moore's running a particular route, and Crowder's running a particular route, there's just different pressures that you can put on a defense to allow other guys to get open. So you don't have that really with all those guys out there. But, for me, it's just like there should be a little bit something for you to hang your hat on because the offensive line's intact. It'd be different if the tackles were down and the inside play was there. Most of the time when there was protection, receivers didn't seem to get open. And then most of the time when the protection was, coming through, then that's when they couldn't make those plays. But at least, Zach Wilson was able to protect the football and not make those poor decisions where you saw some of those things unravel in the past.
Tough day at the office for the entire Jets offensive unit. If you look at it, Braxton Berrios led this team 6 receptions, 52 yards. He was targeted 10 times. But after that, from a receiver position, Keelan Cole was back in the lineup. He was held to just 1 catch for 27 yards. You had Jamison Crowder, who had 3 catches for 19 yards. And then Denzel Mims had a tough day because he had a pair of penalties.
Yeah, I mean, you would want a guy like Jamison Crowder to be the focal point, with all the other guys being down. He got into the game early, but it didn't continue. Obviously, you mentioned Denzel Mims having those 2 penalties. I think that, it kind of messes with the confidence of the young player and the coaches in him, and your opportunities go down. Braxton Berrios was a bright spot. I thought he was, he was playing hard. He did a good job after the catch, and, he gets those tough yards. But not a lot of continuity going on there. And I think that starts with the run game. Anytime your quarterback is not named Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen and he's leading your team in rushing, that can be a problem, because you want to establish that run game. It makes things easier. Anthony talks about it every week. You want to get 20 rushes. You want to get those opportunities. It gives the offensive line an opportunity to tee off on the D lineman. It doesn't wear them down as much. It gives your quarterback an opportunity to get a break. It makes things easier for the quarterback. So establishing that run game I thought was very important, and it made it tough. You look across the field on the New Orleans Saints, they were playing man-to-man a lot of this game, and they have great cornerbacks. That's why they're one of the top defenses in the league. Not a lot of separation on the routes today, and it made it really tough.
So what is the counter on that offensively, Anthony, if you're Mike LaFleur, if you're Robert Saleh, and somebody is playing you man like the Saints did today, and there are not a lot of guys getting open, and you got a rookie quarterback back there?
You got to win. I mean, your job is to win. You got to have it starts with play design, putting your guys in an opportunity to, whether some crossing routes or some different things to rub off each other, different mesh routes that you can have to get these guys open. It's quick throws out of the quarterback's hands that are accurate and fast and on time and in the right spot, so the receivers and running backs and tight ends can make a quick play. And look, Mike LaFleur has had some really good calls the last, 5 or 6 weeks of the season. I mean, he's definitely picked up his playbook, being upstairs, a lot of those things, what he's seeing. So, he wants to give the quarterback opportunities. He wants to try to adjust and make things happen. But, you got to, number one, catch the football. There were some drops in this game. When you look at targets, I think 40 total targets to receivers, running backs, and tight ends, and only 19 catches. That's a kind of a big disparity when you're talking about, that completion. And that goes for all of them. Everybody from the skill position group has to be better. And, it starts with the quarterback and then it trickles down. So when you get everybody doing some things, if you can get a receiver to snag a ball, maybe that's behind him and catch this and that, different things are in place. Different plays can get called. The third downs are less. So when you don't have that, then you're kind of, you're trying to bang out a second and third down from the same distance. It's just hard to do. And, the Saints, give them credit. They're a good defense.
Eric, defensively, a lot of long drives, so that we keep on talking about flow and rhythm and complementary football. When a team is on the field for 7+ minutes on some of these drives, and your offense that is not able to come up with any kind of rhythm themselves is sitting on the sideline, it just puts you so much behind the 8 ball, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as a defense, you go out there and you're prepared to play as many plays as are given to you. You want to make the most out of them. But when the team is running the football, they're moving the chains on you. They're continuing to sustain long drives on you. It breaks your will, and when you get the offense, get the ball back to the offense, it's 3 and out. You don't get a chance to finish your Gatorade on the sideline. It makes it tough. And it breaks you down as a defensive line. The linebackers, everyone starts pressing to make plays, and that's when you start to see the defense give up big plays. Everyone wants to make that play to get off the field. It's not because of a lack of want to, a lack of effort. Everyone's tired. They want to make plays, and sometimes it backfires on you.
Anthony, the Saints held the ball for 38 minutes and 52 seconds today.
Way too much, right? I mean, look, I think everybody in the stadium knew who the best player on the field was and what you had to do to stop this offense, and it was Alvin Kamara. And, he didn't start. He didn't take the first snap of the game, but when he came in, man, it was a heck of a difference. I know we were told that he was going to be on a pitch count for this game. That wasn't the case. You go with the hot hand, and he looked really hot. A lot of those runs were outside, lost some contain on defense. There wasn't really any run support at the second and third level on a consistent basis. And, Alvin Kamara made a lot of yards, before, really non-tackling yards, getting out of bounds, making some plays up the field. So Taysom Hill was off today. He was not a guy that was on point in this football game. So it took him a long time to get going. And when you only have one guy that's cooking for them, you got to get dialed in. And, I've never played defense, Eric Coleman, but, do you cheat a little bit on the hindsight of, hey, he's going to get the ball, he's going to be the guy that's going to catch the ball? Like, I'll ask that to you, or do you just stay within the framework of the defense? So, to me, he's the guy. You got to try to, take the steps to knocking him out.
Absolutely. I mean, and as a coordinator, as a defensive player, you want to put yourself in calls where, all right, we have to stop the run. And when it gets down to third down and 1, maybe we bring down a safety to get in coverage on Kamara because he's such a great route runner. I thought Quincy Williams did a good job in coverage for the most part today, but you have to force everyone else to beat you. You can't let the best player beat you. That's, I hate to bring these guys up, but that's what New England does. They make you play left-handed. If your best player is Alvin Kamara, they're going to make you beat them with somebody else on the team. And that's what I would have liked to seen out of the Jets today. Try to slow down Kamara as much as possible, load up that box. And, unfortunately, it didn't get done. And I think that was the difference of the game today.
Yeah, and then we go back to offensively. 3 of 14 on third down, Anthony. Third down's been a problem. It's been an issue. It continued to raise its head today because defensively you're having problems getting off the field. Offensively, sometimes it sounds so elementary, but it's all tied together.
Drops, missed throws, inaccurate throws as far as being in a catchable position. Not winning on first and second down. The key is getting in third down is to be third and 4 or less. 3 is ideal. That puts a little strain on the defense. There was really no strain. And then and those opportunities where you had to move the chains, at least early in the game, you just weren't in a flow. There was no rhythm. Where we saw last week, there was a ton of flow, a ton of rhythm. And that's I always say this, nothing ever correlates to the next week, right? It's always different. You still got to come out. You still got to execute. If you're hot in the last week of the season, doesn't guarantee you're going to be hot in this first week of this game. So, this offense has to continue to work, to continue to grind. Everybody has to play better. For the most part, offensive line was good in certain moments, and sometimes it wasn't. But in those moments when they were good, the offense wasn't able to make plays, and that's what makes it kind of, from an outsider's view, look worse because you only see some of the negative things when opportunities may have been there they weren't able to execute.
Two-part question here. The Jets had 15 missed tackles against the Eagles. Today, the Saints end up with 203 yards rushing. Was the tackling better today? And also, what can you say about C.J. Mosley? Guy had 17 tackles today. What else can we ask for from this? He is playing at a Pro Bowl level. I believe that's 9 games this season, double-digit tackles. And some of those stops, guys, were key stops. They were third down stops on Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I mean, CJ was playing possessed today. You can tell that he took it personal. He wasn't going to let running backs run up and down the field. He was sideline to sideline. He was knocking guys back. He was aggressive. He was pushing guys after the play. And you need that out of your tone setter, the leader of your defense. I thought he did an excellent job. Unfortunately, when you're playing guys like Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, he's tough to tackle in the open field. You're going to have some missed tackles, but it's that pursuit. You have to miss tackles the right way, force them back into the defense. And there were some leverage issues today that were allowing running backs to get outside, to break contain, to break the integrity of the defense. And that's when you get the big plays. So, you're going to have missed tackles in games, but you have to miss to the right angle. You have to make the running backs stop their feet to allow your defense to pursue and make that play for you. But I thought today the tackling started out better, but at the end of the game, you start to see the defense wear down a little bit, and that's when you see the missed tackles. December is that time of year. There's a lot of missed tackles. There's a lot of ball handling issues because guys are getting tired. They're beat up, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But I think it was a better effort than last week. It wasn't as embarrassing as that Eagles game.
All of the Jets' points today came from Eddie Pinheiro. 3 of 3 on his field goal attempts. Ethan Greenberg talked to him after the game.
Here with Jets kicker Eddie Pinheiro. Eddie, you were responsible for all 9 of the Jets' points today. What worked for you in your debut in green and white?
Well, it was fun to be out there with my teammates. Obviously, practice all week. Great snaps, great holds. It was fun.
Can you talk about the week leading up to this game? How did you feel kicking the ball, and had you kicked in MetLife Stadium before?
Yeah, I've kicked here before when I was playing in Chicago in 2019, so I was a little bit familiar with it. But leading up to this week, just getting some snap hold kicks, getting the timing right with the holder and the snapper, that was crucial for me. So
Was the wind a factor at all today? Pre-game, it felt like it was very windy.
yeah, I felt like in a pregame it was very, very, very windy, but it started to die down towards second, third quarter.
What have this past year plus been like for you after having a chance with the Bears in 2019 and then making your way to a couple different teams before landing here with the Jets?
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. I'm super grateful for the Jets to give me the opportunity to be here and work with the team and stuff. I'm just super grateful.
Can you just talk about, as a kicker, the challenges of going to a new place and learning the operation and getting timing down with your snapper and your holder?
Yeah, every place is different. Every hold and every snap is different in every organization. But this week, like I was saying, we got a lot of operation stuff going this week, and it worked out perfect for us. And I felt super comfortable. And like I said, good snaps, good holds, great kicks. So
How do you build on this performance moving forward?
yeah, just excited to play next week, going to Miami, to my hometown. That's where I was born and raised, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Give him props. Not an easy situation. Basically, it's a one-game tryout, right?
He'll be
And
back. He'll be back next week.
And sometimes that is life in the National Football League. But he goes 3 for 3 today, and you can't ask for anything more than that.
No, he did his job. That's his job, make kicks, right? I mean, look, we shouldn't have to talk to the kicker, right? I mean, that's just what it is. We don't want to talk about the kicker. We want to go out and do your job. But again, coming in, only a week of practice, coming off the couch, doing what he did, I think there's actually kind of impressive, to come out and make those 3 field goals. So, for me, I thought he did a good job. He did exactly what they wanted him to do, and that earns him another paycheck next week, which I think is great for him. So as long as he keeps doing that, that's a great opportunity for him to finish the season and potentially get himself on the team next year as well. So there'll be competition, but again, he's got an opportunity to make the most of it.
4 weeks left, fellas. Where do we go from here? Eric, I'll start with you on the defensive side of the ball. Did a lot of good things early, probably wore down. I think it's fair to say wore down big time late in this game. You're going to Miami next week. That is a team that you played a very competitive game against. You probably should have won it in MetLife Stadium, but you are so banged up on both sides of the ball right now.
Yeah, I think that you have to continue with the great effort. Continue to go out there and execute. I loved the tone that they set early in this game. Continue, use that momentum to continue to carry you. In the secondary, get experience from these guys. Elijah Riley is getting a lot of reps. Bryce Hall, all these young cornerbacks and safeties are getting valuable reps. You have to take advantage of those. Get that experience, learn from your mistakes, and continue to grow as a defense. I think that we're seeing a great player in Quincy Williams. He got several opportunities because of injuries and kind of earned his way onto this field. You're going to have some guys that kind of show out. They show out. They stick out on the film. You're starting to see their name pop up more. That's what you want to see as you go down the stretch in a season where you're not going to the playoffs. You want to continue to grow and build on this thing moving forward.
Can we stay right there? I wanted to ask you about the safety you just brought up, Elijah Riley. He had near 10 tackles himself today. What do you like about his game, and could he be a guy on this roster in 2022?
Yeah, he can absolutely be a guy in this roster in 2022. He's a hard worker. He's physical. You don't see him out of position a lot. He plays with good eyes, good integrity. Does a good job in the open field tackling. So you can build off that. Guys like that with a lot of effort. He may not be the biggest guy, the fastest player, but he's tough. He does it the right way. He's not making a lot of mistakes out there. He's a communicator. You have to learn off that. You have to continue to grow with that. And, you play well in special teams. You play well when you're called to play on defense. You end up with a nice little career. And that's kind of the way that I made mine. So he kind of reminds me of me when he goes out there with the attitude, the effort, and not making mistakes.
All right, you didn't make too many mistakes today, Eric Coleman. Great analysis as always. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball, and we'll end with you, Anthony Beck, because this is all about Zach Wilson right now. And you brought it up, and Bob Wischusen actually asked him about it as well. How do you get to the point where, okay, you're going to have some incompletions on those difficult throws, but where you're making the layups 98, 99% of the time?
You got to make those throws, bottom line. I mean, they're going to tell him that in the meetings. They're going to tell him that on film. He knows it. I mean, obviously, and it's got to be an easy thing. Like, it should just come out of your hand, and you should naturally be able to complete those things. Those are the off-schedule throws, the ones where you're looking through your progressions. The big ones aren't there, and you get it out of your hand because you got your guy right there to catch them. And those got to be 100%, period. There's no 90%. You got to get them all. So that's something he's going to have to improve on. Everybody's got to get better on offense, period. You know, there's got to be better execution. There's got to be more consistency. There's got to be balance. You can't be one-sided. You're not good enough to be one-sided. So the offense has to continue to work and have balance, run the ball effectively, keep the game in hand, which they should be able to do these next 2 weeks. I mean, look, these are 2 games, this game included, which got out of hand, but they were all there for you to kind of keep it going if you execute it offensively. So go back to the drawing boards, get better with it. Hopefully some guys get healthy. If not, if it's the same guys that are out there, then you go roll with it, and that's another week you guys get to be working together on the practice field. So I expect it to be better. But again, you're building for something. When your opportunity is there, take advantage of it. If you're a receiver or running back, whoever's in the game, make sure you take advantage of your opportunity, because this is a tryout every single week. Because if you want to be part of the building process and be part of what this team and this organization feels they're on track doing, then you're going to have to continue to do it and shine in these last, 4 or 5 games of the season.
Where do you think you can hang your hat on offensively moving forward? Because we saw this team operate without Elijah Moore, and unfortunately he's going to be out at least 2 more games.
Well, you hang your hat on what the guys can do on a week-in-to-week basis according to what they do in practice and bring to the game. Zach's got to get better. There's no doubt about it. Everybody's got to get better. Receivers got to catch the ball. Running backs got to catch the ball. Somebody's got to make a play.
Yep.
You can't just catch, go down, but make a play. Braxton Berrios making that catch, that's making a play. You need more of that. Those are the things. You got to have some big chunk yard plays, some explosive plays throughout the game. You can't go through all the way through the fourth quarter and not have an explosive play. So this team has to generate something. They have enough talent on offense, regardless of who's out there, to make some plays. Keenan Cole's making big plays in his career. Braxton Berrios is a guy you can count on. Crowder is a guy as well in the red zone that's good. So they got enough pieces to make plays. They got to go out there and do it. Play loose, too. They should open up the playbook and do as much as they can. They can protect the quarterback and have balance. They can have success.
A month left in the 2021 season. The Jets are 3-10 after a 30-9 loss to the New Orleans Saints. For Anthony Becht and everybody here at One Jets Drive, I'm Eric Allen. We're signing off.